Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bow and Arrow Tarot. I hope everyone's doing all right. We're going to get right. Let me fix my camera so it's not going to be trying to refocus every 5 seconds. All right, guys. All right. Welcome to Bow and Arrow Tarot. Thank you so much for stopping by. We're going to get right into Aries. Aries for May. All right. Do Aries for May. Really love reading. Um, this is going to be a general outlook. What's your May like, right? This is just going to be one outlook for a particular Aries out there somewhere. Now, if it revolves around love or business or whatever, of course, we'll go down that rabbit hole, right? But otherwise, I just want to see what kind of animal spirits you're dealing with this month before we get your traditional cards out. Show me what's going on for Aries for May 2020. It's been a harrowing, the snake has popped out. It's been a harrowing April, hasn't it? I mean, let's just see. Snake has popped out. So some of you are highly creative right now. Let's see what else is out for you. The golden egg, heart chakra opening up. And we have the butterfly. All right. I was going to pull one more. And we have the beaver. Not surprising. All right. So the golden egg, the butterfly, the beaver, and the snake came out. Let's move this over and make some room for them. So you got a lot of hard work ahead of you. Some of you are working like crazy, beaver energy. Heart chakra is opening up. So some of you are opening up your heart chakra this month, right? Golden egg is associated with that. It could be that you're just feeling a lot more sentimental this month for your, Aries fire, strong, but you're feeling a little more, I want to say sentimental or sensitive, right? Your heart is opening up to a lot of different possibilities, I want to say, for some of you, right? So it could be all about communication with that black egg, right? Butterfly energy and beaver and snake. So a lot of you, butterfly is transformation. A lot of you are changing this May, right? And you're getting into highly creative stuff, right? Snake energy is all about being very sort of physically creative. So that's what I mean, like by creative stuff. It could be like a project. It could be that you have like a new endeavor. Whatever it is, snake energy talks about tapping in, right? It's earth energy, right? So it's like tapping into physical talents that you have, physical artistic talents that you have that are sort of um, allowing you to express yourself, right? And it's kind of new. This is going to be a feeling of newness for a lot of you, I think. Beaver energy is there too. So some of you are working like the beaver is in I love the beaver. It's an interesting animal spirit because it's an earth animal spirit, but it builds its home in the water, right? So it is actually water spirit. It's associated with water in this deck. That's the alchemical symbol for water. And the beaver is one of these beautiful, beautiful creatures that really spans two energies because it is such a hard worker, right? So we all notice about the beaver, when they create these dams, they're like working away and beavers using very earthy materials, right? Twigs and things like that and wood, right? Yet to create this home in the middle of the water, in the middle of a rushing river, oftentimes, right? So this really is symbolic of how the hard work that the beaver puts into its tasks provides an emotional stability, right, for itself and its family. It provides material stability, especially in the face of a lot of emotional ups and downs, right? It's the hard work of the beaver that provides the stability. And for some of you, you're absolutely going through a real sort of transformation when we're talking in terms of the butterfly. And, the butterfly is also the animal spirit for friendship. So for some of you, we always talk about transformation, but transformation is very difficult. A lot of times, you see readers that talk, oh, we're going through this strong transformation. And yes, of course, it's always positive to go through a change that allows you to be more expansive and more creative, but it's difficult. Change is not without growing pains. And a butterfly specifically talks about how as you're changing, the times that are difficult, you might want to reach out to friends. You might want to reach out to people you know have been there, you know, who have your back. And I've always said, you know, if you can count your friends on one hand, if you can count all your good friends on one hand, then you're very, very lucky. Hey, Rock and Rob, happy Aloha Friday. All right, we're going to get ready to get right into your spread. Aries for May. It's going to be a traditional Celtic spread. Hey, Rock and Rob, how do you like having the black back? You like it? Let me know what you think. For a little while, folks, I was changing up my background. I had to change my videoing setup, and so my regulars know they've been going through it with me, but we're pretty close to where it's going to be. All right. Hello, Gavin. How are you? Much love to you. Thank you for stopping by. We're going to get this Celtic spread out for Aries. Yeah, I like the way it makes the cards stand out, too. It's all about the cards, isn't it? Really. All right, show me Aries for May. Show me what's going on, General. Show me. All right, straight up the center, you have the sun. Beautiful. That's nice. Covered by the Three of Wands. Wow. All right, so we have waiting energy. All right, we have waiting energy. Eight of Pentacles. So there's your hard work. And Eight of Wands. So you got a lot of 8 going on. 8 is the number for boundaries, Aries. So you're going to have to put some boundaries in place for some of you. You're working hard, though. Shit. Look at that. That's a lot of hard work. Devil. King of Cups coming in with the Devil. So that's your energy coming into me. Energy coming out. We have 9 of Swords. So some of you are worried. Knight of Swords. We have 10 of Swords. Yeah, it's the end of a struggle for some of you, I'm going to say. And 7 of Pentacles. Well, this is a real change. So some of you are changing your whole outlook for your future, not Queen of Swords. Some of you are going through a real change regarding what you want to do with your life, right? It's a big change. It's a big change. You know, we have a lot of room here. Forget we have more room with this camera. Let's spread this out a little bit more. I'm going to pull out some more cards. So this month is all about sun energy. Some of you are going to be raring to go, right? So you want to go. You want to move forward. You have an idea of where your energy is going this month. The sun is letting you know this, right? The sun brings with it clarity, but it also brings growth. It brings the energy for growth. Right? It brings the energy for abundance, right? It brings the energy for expansion, but what you also have covering it is your Three of Wands. So Three of Wands is the card for virtue and patience, right? So 3 is the number for virtue in the tarot. Also bonding, loyalty, but Three of Wands, you know what we have? You know, we have this kind of grinding to a halt. Right. 2 of Wands is Mars in Aries energy. So you're fighting, you're battling, you're almost warlike. But now at 3 of Wands, you're kind of waiting. Look, you can see him waiting and looking out. He's looking for information. He needs more information. He needs more. He's waiting either for something. And 3 of Wands is interesting like that. It can be very frustrating energy because it generally will come in exactly at a time where you're wanting to press forward. It is the type of energy that feels very much from the outside. It feels like it's oftentimes forced on you. A lot of times, 3 of Wands is not, even though it is the card for patience, it's not patience. People aren't patient when they're at this place. But they're forced to wait. They're forced to sort of have to hold on and wait for more information to come in before you can make your decision. And so this is kind of the energy that's covering you this May. Nevertheless, you are still having a lot of growth. So it could be that as you're growing this May, Aries, you're going to be kind of very much in the throes of growing and not necessarily knowing what your next step is. Not necessarily knowing what the plan is. This is very seat of the pants type of energy, I want to say, right? But you're working. You're working. Very labor-intensive month for you, May, Aries. And it's a labor-intensive month for something that you enjoy doing, of course. 8 is restriction and discipline. So a lot of you are going to be extremely disciplined in May, but you're going to be disciplined because you're going to be working so hard. I have said this for my readings, for my particular collective, despite that the whole world right now is going through a lot of sort of difficulty and lockdown, a lot of my collective is thriving. right? Because my readings are showing that. My readings are constantly showing Seven of Pentacles energy, Eight of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is how you round your month off, Aries, but Seven of Pentacles is very much about reassessing your life and your goals for your life. And I'm going to get into that later, but it's recurring energy that has been there for a lot of the readings, Aries. And this month, May, is working month for you. However, you are dealing in the back of your mind here, Eight of Wands with Eight of Wands. So this is a lot of mixed messages coming in. So somewhere along the line this month, you're going to be dealing with a lot of chaotic energy, right? It's interesting. You have two eights like this. So May is going to require that you maintain your boundaries, because eight is not only the number for strength, it's the number for boundaries. Why? How do we maintain our strength? We maintain our strength by maintaining our boundaries. You can't let everyone come into you. You just can't. And so that's why we have to have boundaries with certain people. We have to be really discerning with what people we allow in and how close we allow them in, right? And this is what maintains strength. And this is what maintains sort of like the integrity of your strength, right? Because otherwise people will come in and they will suck your energy. They will suck your strength, suck your energy, suck your time, suck your attention. So Eight of Wands is also my viral card. So for some of you, things are off the hook, right? Eight of Wands is like some of you are just getting calls. You're getting, I'm going to say, a lot of energy coming in, a lot of people who want to come in. A lot of it is going to be real and worth your attention. Some of it may not. And again, that's why the need for boundaries. Because with Eight of Wands, it's my viral card because it's so much energy coming in. People will call, they will text, they will try to come and see you, they will try to have conversations with you. Oftentimes when you're very busy like that, you're going to have people come in as a course of your busyness, but then you also have people come in because they're newsy. You have people come in because they see you being busy. It's a very, Eight of Wands is such a chaotic energy, and the only way to deal with it is to have boundaries and to be very clear with your boundaries. Who and what are you going to deal with, and what will you not? What will you not entertain right now? And what is the criteria? Coming into the month, you have King of Cups. So I want to say that some of you may have like someone who's like definitely got an eye on you, or you have your eye on someone. King of Cups is very sort of hunter energy, right? So some of you are being hunted. Right? Some of you are being hunted. Let's get your clarifiers out before we go too far further. Devil energy is how you round off your month. So it's going to be a lot of choosing, right? You're going to have, it's interesting in May, towards the end of the month, there may be uh, some options that come in that may not be the best options in the world. You're going to have to be very careful about them, because that's what devil energy is all about. It's always that teasing of like, hey, do you want to just come down here real quick and have a good time and relax, or do you want to just keep working away to that higher motivation, right? Um, Devil energy manifests in a lot of different ways. Oftentimes, of course, the devil is the card for Capricorn. It is also one of the highest cards for creative energy, right? Because that second chakra, that kundalini energy, that sexual energy, that passion, that desire to have your passion satisfied, that all comes from creative energy, the desire to express yourself creatively. Sex, right? You have sex, you make children. Children are the ultimate sort of like example of that, right? Creating a life, right? But creativity and creating a life and all of it's all part of that same energy. And this is why the devil is oftentimes associated with that. It's oftentimes associated with addiction, codependency, excess sex, etc. Just that the excess of satisfaction of passion. It is also on the flip side associated with high degrees of creative expression. So when you take that energy and you tie it, you focus it higher, you focus it to a higher objective, a higher aesthetic, a higher moral objective, or spiritual objective, or a higher aesthetic objective. This is when you get symphonies. This is when you get creations of art. Uh, and this is oftentimes why you have artists who will be highly, highly creative at times, and at other times will absolutely descend into destructive behavior, right? Like addiction, and codependency, and just very what we would associate in tarot with devil energy, being a slave to their passions in a very limited way. And this is why you can see this oftentimes with highly artistic individuals, because it comes from the same energy. And so oftentimes it is a choice. It is a choice between it comes in when you are highly creative. Again, the snake has shown up for you. So this is an Aries who's highly creative. And when you don't have a positive outlet for your creative energy, it can be that you descend into this kind of negative devil energy, right? So this is what's coming in towards the end of April. And this is what I wanted to take a moment to explain to you, is that, in tarot, we're not talking about the Christian Judeo sort of outlook of the devil. It is a possibility within all of us to go down that road. It just depends on where we are at, and our circumstances, and our creative drives at the time. Nevertheless, for you, Aries, it is something that will be a focus towards the end of May for you, right? So let's pull these clarifiers out. Show me what's going on. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. And then I'm going to talk about that 9 of Swords there, because you're worrying a little bit. Some of you are worrying. Coming into the month worried, okay? Worried that you're going to be able to keep up your confidence. Worried that you're going to be able to keep up, but we're going to get into that. Let me see what's going on here. 5 of Cups. Okay, so some of you are a little bit hurt. Thinking about the past. Queen of Wands. She's 5 of Wands. More strife and a star. Okay, so your desire. Yeah, you have a desire. You have a dream. Star energy coming in over that devil. At the bottom of this deck, we have the Ace of Cups. So for some of you, you are right now reminiscing a lot this month. Something about this month is reminding you of the past. Right? You have the 5 of Cups. The 5 of Cups really talks about thinking about a past pain that you've been through. It's worrying. It's kind of getting stuck into the past, because oftentimes something that's going on in the present is reminding you of a time in the past. And you worry, is it going to be like it was before? Is something going to be like it was before? And somehow this is coming in to your work, right? Now, it could be just your circumstances right now. It could just be the way you're working right now, Aries. Excuse me, I had to take a sip of coffee. It could just be the way you're working right now. But it's something this month that is happening that is reminding you there's some kind of love action coming in, reminding you of the past, reminding you of a previous relationship with that 5 of Cups. And I think that the one thing with 5 is the number for struggle. The devil is the 15th. So 5, we see with that 5, that internal struggle, right? That internal struggle of fearing to look to the future. Is the future going to be as messed up as the past? Is what's happening now going to just reverberate again, be again what I went through before, right? And so just be careful with this energy, because oftentimes this is just merely an internal struggle. It doesn't really have any basis on sort of what's really going on. And there's no indication that what is happening now will be at all like what you went through before in the past, right? Some of you, Queen of Wands, again, she's showing up for that 8 of Wands. So you're definitely going to be very strong. I'm going to say Aries. Queen of Wands, I always love to see her show up, because she is, in fact, the one who shows up when we need to really go through difficult times. So 8 of Wands, all of that chaos, all of that chaotic messages coming in, people coming in, you're not, Queen of Wands is absolutely there to handle it. Now, it could be, Aries, that you're definitely tapping into your Queen of Wands. Could be that for some of you, you may have a Queen of Wands person in your life who's going to help you handle this. Right? It could be somebody who just comes in and helps you, right? Because there's a lot of work and a lot of chaos. This is definitely an Aries who may or may not have their own business, or the type of work that they do involves a lot of contact with people or clients. It may involve, it's interesting because it involves a lot of physical labor, yet it also involves a lot of communication as well. And so this is why I'm saying this could certainly be an Aries who is either running a company or is running a company with someone else, or, you know what I mean, is in that kind of nature, is that kind of work. The nature of their work is like that. And so it could very well be the Queen of Wands is somebody who could be coming into you in May, Aries, who really has experience in this area, I want to say. The Queen of Wands is someone who's very experienced. You know, she's someone who has been there. She's been through a lot. Oftentimes, she's been through the exact same scenario you're going through, right? She has that experience and that wisdom. And so, in this way, it could be you or it could be somebody coming. I feel like it's somebody in to help you out, Aries. All right. Now, again, interesting. King of Wands is coming in. Like I said, some of you have been pursued, but there is some strife there. Five of Wands, right? There's some competitive competition there. There's a competitive sort of vibe there. It could be that coming out of April, it's almost like I feel because we're reading May now, right, Aries, and it just feels to me like coming out of April, there was a little bit of strife there for some of you in the area of love, almost like dealing with maybe someone else, a third party or an ex, or just dealing with a lot of bickering with someone. King of Cups definitely is the one who hunts, right? So it feels also to me like somebody has come in for you. You may have two lovers, you may have two lovers who are kind of like at each other. I don't know. There's some kind of, it's interesting because King of Cups definitely feels to me like an energy that is following you into May. May not necessarily, I don't feel like it's you. I feel like it's somebody who wants you, Aries, who's kind of hunting you right now, in that sense, right? They've made it known that they want to be with you, right? In any case, there is no other sort of kind of love energy this month. This month for May, Aries is really all about you moving forward with your plans and your work and your ideas. This month is a real idea month, a strategy month to a certain degree. Again, Three of Wands, it's like that's the passion. You want to move forward, but I guess maybe part of the reason why you're being held back this month also is because you have to, some of the mental has to get right. And so here we get into, I'm going to come back to the star. Here we get into Nine of Swords and Knight of Swords. So some of you are going to be battling confidence issues this month. Just a little bit of confidence, a little bit of self-confidence, a lot of sleepless nights. Look at that Nine of Swords. It could just be that, I want to say that for some of you, you may have a certain energy in your life that is promoting negativity or that may be standing in the way of your self confidence, right? It could be certain connections you have with people, places, or things. Why I say that is because, along with this kind of anxiety that you have here, the energy that comes back to you to meet you this month is Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is kind of like the great sort of defender. He comes and he cuts away at anything that's holding him back. And so um, it's interesting. This month, you're going to have some anxieties about certain things, but in realizing those anxieties, some of you are going to be cutting ties with certain things, people, places that have been perpetuating your anxiety. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like you feel the anxiety, Nine of Swords is having really sleepless nights and worrying, maybe even regretting a little bit, feeling unsure about things. Knight of Swords energy is what meets you in a sense that I feel like a lot of you Aries are going to sort of be like, look, I don't need this, right? I don't need these sleepless nights. I don't need this bad feeling. And there's something in your life that is, I want to say, impacting this or exacerbating it, right? Just, something in your life that is exacerbating these worries and anxieties. And so Knight of Swords is all about cutting those ties. With Page of Swords, we begin mentally to keep ourselves, positive and to sort of mentally fight against negative sort of thoughts and attitudes. But with Knight of Swords, we're actively like going out and cutting those ties, maybe not speaking to certain people anymore, not hanging out in certain places anymore, not doing certain things. These are the real ties that bind us sometimes to things in our lives that make us fucking unhappy. And we wake up to that and we realize that if we wanted to stop being unhappy, we have to cut some of these ties. And so this is kind of something that you go through this month with May. Some of you who are resonating with this. And it's very much, and I want to say a lot of it is also because this Queen of Wands is coming in. And so this Queen of Wands could just be strength energy that you're tapping into from yourself, Aries, your own wisdom, your own strength, because we all have our own Queen of Wands that we sort of tap into, right? Or like I said, it could be somebody coming in. For some of you strongly, I feel like it's somebody coming in. But in either case, it's kind of like the Nine of Swords doesn't take you over this month. It's just enough of it there to make you realize that enough is enough and certain things you need to change in your life so that you can have less of this energy. And you do that this month. Some of you do that this month. Queen of Swords is there at the bottom of the deck because she's all about being really, really sort of honest, with who you are. Queen of Swords, she's that next step up for the Knight of Swords, So now she no longer needs to cut the things that tie her. What the Queen of Swords cuts away with her sword is her own mask, right? Now she's cutting away her own mask, her own roles that she's fallen into, masks that she's worn, in various situations to hide her true feelings, to hide who she truly is. She's now learning to cut that away. And queens being water, we're talking about the watery aspect of swords. So of course we're talking about learning how to be honest with our feelings, with who we truly are. That is the next level. You go from Knight of Swords to Queen of Swords. Now she's working on that within herself. And you can see that her head rises above the clouds. She's no longer in the clouds because now she has clarity. She's very, very honest with who she is. And this is a difficult process. This is not easy to do. This is what makes her the queen, the Queen of Swords. And so there's definitely a progression that you're on, Aries. For some of you, you're making a real progression this May, like a mental sort of I want to say that you're mentally sort of transcending and maturing in a lot of ways, and you're getting over a lot of your own habits and a lot of your own connections that you've made that have up until now perhaps held you back. It's a really different day for a lot of you. You're changing a lot this month in May, and a lot of it has to do with the change in your work. Right? It has something to do with a change in your work. Why do I say you have a change in your work? Because of the Seven of Pentacles. You're working hard this month, but you're working in an area that is not exactly where you used to work. Now, Ten of Swords is in a position of your hopes and dreams and your fears. And Ten of Swords is the strong sort of ending to a period of struggling. For some of you, these swords, Ten of Swords is one of my favorite sort of completion cards. You can see the body laying there, which is symbolic of the ego. And it represents the end of a period, Aries, of having continually taken swords to your ego, having taken blow after blow after blow, knocking you down. And normally you've gotten up and you fought again. But this time with Ten of Swords, we're talking about it is now the last sword, the last sort of straw, right? And the old you now is completely dead. But this is a good thing in a lot of ways because it's the old you. It has now killed who you used to be. And you're a different person now. Who rises up now is completely different, right? This same ego can't rise anymore. It's done. So now you are rising up and you're much stronger than you ever were. The swords that killed the old you can never hurt you. They can't hurt the new you, right? Because you've transcended. You've transcended this ego version of yourself. And this is what happens oftentimes. An example is like, if you've gone through a period of say you've had a long period of not getting the job you want. You've gone to the schools, you've gone into debt, you've had to pay the debt, you've had to work other jobs you didn't want to work. Those are swords. Those are all swords to the ego. That's an example. That's a pain that we go through. Now you're finally in work and it's like the work isn't making you happy, or you're having to sort of really, really scrape your way to the top. A lot of times you may have been stepped over. You may not have gotten the job that you wanted, that you applied for. All of these knocks, right, that we go through in life, just as an example, are these swords. But what happens is that after a period, and this is what a lot of you Aries are going through this May, is that after a long period of going through so many different knocks, You at one point, you, of course, every time you get up, but at one point something shifts and transcends, and you now you are somebody totally new, and you can't be hurt by those knocks anymore. You, in fact, you probably won't even experience those knocks anymore because you're a different person now, and you resonate differently, you handle things differently, and your ego, the new you and the new character and person you are. Ideally, we want the new ego to get smaller, right? We want the ego to diminish over our lifetime and the soul to get bigger. So ideally, this figure gets smaller. Smaller target, harder to hurt. You know what I mean? Smaller ego is harder to hurt. A big ego is easy to hurt. A small ego is much more difficult to hurt. So you're not subjected to the same type of difficulties you were before. And I take a moment to explain the Ten of Swords because it is such a beautiful completion card, because it is not only completion in a sense that you are now uh, out of a period of continued struggling, but you yourself as a person have changed so much that you simply cannot struggle the way you struggled before, because you cannot be affected the way you were affected before. It's a very, very strong card that goes with butterfly energy. If we're talking about air energy, we're talking about transformation. Ten of Swords and butterfly is beautiful energy together. Very difficult. It is difficult because oftentimes with Ten of Swords, there was one last event that broke that back or that killed that ego, right? So it didn't just suddenly come out of nowhere. It came out because there was just one more event that was very, very painful and caused the ultimate death. So, of course, it isn't easy. Of course, it's hard, right? Nevertheless, what comes out of it is phenomenal. It is a change. Give me a moment to take a sip. So, my lovely Aries, big changes for you. Big, big changes. Big transcendence. And now we finally get to the Seven of Pentacles that I wanted to talk about. This is a card that has been coming out in a lot of my readings in the last couple of weeks. And the reason why I love seeing this card and why I talk about a lot of you are going to be doing different work in May than what you are used to. Nevertheless, it's such a huge change that is, causing a lot of satisfaction for a lot of you. It's expansion. It's the Seven of Pentacles. Now, here we have seven is the number for hopes and dreams and aspirations, our ultimate wishes, right? You can see that the star is the 17. The first seven major arcana is the Chariot, but even the star, we're talking about our hopes and dreams and our ultimate wishes. And so with Seven of Pentacles, what happens is we look at the garden, right? That this person is obviously the garden you have worked for a very long time. You've been tilling this garden, you've been working for it, right? Let's take your career, for example, the job that you do, right? You have probably really had to work for this job. It's something that you wanted, it was your goal. And now we have Seven of Pentacles energy in the sense that you are now looking at it and you're saying, okay, is this it? You're looking at the blue, you're looking at the fruit of your labor, as it were, right? And you kind of say, it's a period of reflection to say, well, is this really what I wanted? Ultimately, is this what I wanted? Is this it? Right? Is this what I worked all these years for? Am I happy with where I'm at? Am I, wow. And a lot of times this has been coming up, I think, recently because so many of you are going through this. A lot of you are being forced because of the way we're living right now. A lot of us are being forced to kind of look at our lives from a completely different angle, an angle that we've been forced to look at our lives from, sort of from outside the bubble. Up until now, right? Many of us, we have this routine. We get up, we have the schedule. Even if it isn't a 9 to 5 schedule, we all have our schedules, right? And so we live life according to the schedule. Our schedules, everyone's schedule has been, drastically, abrasively, chaotically sort of disrupted recently, right? And what's happening is that Seven of Pentacles is coming out, because a lot of us are now looking at our lives from outside of our own fishbowl, I think. And this is the feeling that comes in for me. It's like we're all in our own fishbowl to a certain degree, our own sort of bubble. And we're being forced to look at our lives from outside this bubble. Taking all of that automation that we've put into our lives, that scheduling, that automation, that repetition, that habituation, taking all of that out, from your life, and then looking at the essence of your day. What does it comprise? Am I happy with it? Right. And this is why seven, I believe, Seven of Pentacles is showing up so much. And what's happening is that a lot of people are changing, and they're saying, "No, I'm not happy with that. No, I'm not. I don't want to do that again. I don't want this job. I may have wanted this work or this job 10 years ago, but now that I'm here, the journey has changed me." Again, Ten of Swords. The journey has changed me so much that what was my goal 10 years ago, now that I've reached it, I no longer want it. And this is oftentimes also the energy of Seven of Pentacles. Of course, you've reached a goal that you set out for, but that goal was the goal you had many years ago. And a lot of times, the goals that we have many years ago, it is the traveling and the working towards that goal that so fundamentally changes us. That a lot of times we get to it, the fruit of our labor comes up, and we're like, oh, you know what? I actually don't want it anymore. I want something completely different. Let's see what your spirits are like. You do have Ace of Cups at the bottom, so there's a new love interest coming in for some of you. But it's really sort of outside of your focus for May, because your May is so much focused on you sort of realigning. And at the end of the month, again, the star energy comes in because this is very much a month about you getting on track with what you truly want to do with your life. Maybe this is a dream, this is a dream for your life that you've always had, but that you've somehow been sort of detracted from to a certain degree. Because star energy is all about sort of refocusing back on your goal, your hopes and dreams for your life dream, you know. That dream we have for who we want to be in our lives. A lot of times we don't follow that at all. You know, a lot of us have the type of dreams that we feel are so unrealistic or unreachable. You know, they just remain there a dream. But, you know, sometimes it is also just about coming back to the path of working towards it. Nevertheless, a lot of you Aries are doing that this month. And by the end of the month, you're battling with star energy and devil. So the devil, to a certain degree, the ease of a particular particular lifestyle may be pulling you by the end of the month down a road that is away from your goal. Okay, this is Spider Spirit talking about Dharma, fate, and destiny, free will coming in. Sorry about that. Show me what's going on. Show me this. Aries for May, what kind of spirits we're working with. It's interesting, you know, Spider Spirit comes out a lot. Yeah, it's really down to you. And fate, free will, destiny, a lot of that does, you know, it resonates with the devil, because it's interesting that you would have this energy by the end of May. Like you're just going to have this decision. Some of you may have a choice to keep going the way you're going, or to go down a different path, or return to a previous path, right? All right. Spirit of Stone. So frozen, delayed, longing. Interesting. Spirit of the Ring. And we have Spirit of the Wind. All right. So Spider came out. Fate, destiny, Spirit of Stone. So yeah, again, longing, delay. I do say that this month is going to be difficult because of the Three of Wands. In a lot of ways, you have a lot of change coming in, but in a lot of ways, you're really ready to go. You're ready to move forward. There's a longing there, though. Spirit of Stone isn't even so much wanting to move forward. It's a longing. It's a longing for something, waiting for something in particular. So for some of you, it could be connected to this love interest. It could be connected to this Five of Wands. It has come out over that. It could be for some of you that you have a love interest that you're still longing for. And this month, it may come into sharp focus for some reason again. So the spirit of longing is coming in for you this month. So for some of you, this Five of Cups, it could be that you're just reminded of a lost love, or a lost love comes back to you for some reason. Again, the way we are all changing, the way we're living like right now, a lot of people are, it's interesting that the dynamic of what's happening right now in our society is bringing some people who were in separation back together, right? Some people who are together, it's separating them. There's a lot of weird dynamics going on, and it's interesting that Five of Cups and longing. It's almost as if a longing for a lost love is coming in this May for some reason for you. It could be that somebody presents themselves who's been away. And Spirit of the Ring. So somebody wants to make a commitment to you. Could be that somebody wants to make a commitment to you. It's reminding you of the last time you made a commitment with somebody. There is some interesting love energy coming in for you this month, I want to say, Aries, that is that is around love to a certain degree. Even though you're doing all of this work, changing your career, right? And we have Spirit of the Wind. So activity, movement, of course. Like I said, a lot of work this month, a lot of wind. Air energies is the butterfly, Ten of Swords is air. You have a lot of air, lot of air this month, a lot of change, a lot of activity, a lot of working, a lot of new, right? A lot of newness, I want to say, to a certain degree. Also, a lot of changing, though. Seven of Pentacles, changing up your ideas about your life or what you want to do with your life. You know, very, very much. Um, you know, but love is coming in. Again, Spirit of the Ring. Remember I said that it felt like somebody's hunting you. Could be somebody offering you a contract or a promise. Somebody wants to get with you. It might be causing you a little bit of anxiety. Remember, this could be reminding you, some of you may have been married before. You may have been in a relationship where somebody's offered you commitment or a contract before. You're very worried about it with the Five of Cups. So that's coming in as well for you. Some of you guys this month, definitely. There is like a cross message here about love for some of you while you're doing all of this work. Absolutely. Right. And changing your outlook in career. Some of you are definitely having a lover who is, I want to say, they're hunting you. They want that commitment, but it's giving you a lot of anxiety here because I think for a lot of you, Five of Cups, absolutely, it reminds you of the past. Absolutely, it reminds you of something you've been through before you don't want to go through again. Absolutely, it gives you a sense of longing here this month because Spirit of the Stone is there. So you're frozen. In a lot of ways, for some of you, you're going to be frozen about the question or the contract or the promise that this person is asking from you because of your sort of I want to say thinking about the past, etc. Right? So how that turns out is it's going to depend on you. Again, remember the devil is coming out at the end of the month to a certain degree to either pull you down a very familiar road or not. I'm going to leave it at that, Aries. That's it. This is your reading for May, and I wanted to go on and on and on. You have your spirits. Interesting reading for May, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you, you know, got some clarity out of it. This is the general reading. I'm going to come back into the love reading for May also, but that probably won't be until next week. And tomorrow I will be back, of course, with the weeklies, right? So tomorrow we're going to start working on this week's love outlook and, of course, the general outlooks, as I always do. I did have a little break this week, guys, because, again, I was just getting everything, you know, settled in my new like little table area and stuff. So I had to do some of that, and that was like actual physical work that I had to do. So it took a little while, but I was here nevertheless. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you, Rock and Rob, for stopping by. Gavin for stopping by. Thank you, Aries, for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it. So for right now, I'm just going to sign off. Please stay safe and stay healthy out there, right? Most of all, stay very kind to each other. I'm going to take a break, and then I'll be back in just a little while. I'm going to be running through the fire signs tonight. So I started with Aries, and Leo will be next. So I'll be working on the Leo general outlook for May in just a little while. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful night. Bye.